Shalom, everyone. Shalom, shalom. May the peace and blessings of the Most High, El-Elyon, be upon you. I'm just going to say Psalm 2. It's from the Passion Translation, subtitled Poetry on Fire, and it really is on fire. Psalm 2 is called the Coronation of the King, and we all know who the King is, Yeshua Himself, who some call Jesus, and he's going to come back soon, and we're going to be a bride ready for him, a church without spot or wrinkle. Some of us, like me, still have a little way to go. But through his grace and mercy, giving us good works through grace, we will make it. Because Yah is more than willing, and so are we. And also it's a warning to the governments and the rebellious. I was once very rebellious. Act 1, the nations speak. How dare the nations plant a rebellion, ranting and raging. And the footnote says, numbering the troops, muttering under your breath, against the Lord Adonai, Most High, El-Elyon. Their foolish plots are futile. The footnote says, why are they devising emptiness? Look at how the power brokers of the world rise up to hold their summit, scheming and conferring together against Elohim, against God and his anointed king. And we can see they're all doing that, can't we? We can see what the Pope's doing, trying to unite them all in the one world religion. The the economic forums, or whatever they're called, have had 2 meetings at least this year. And then all the stuff about the environment, that we respect the environment. Ahia created it for us, but we know this world's going to be almost completely destroyed, and a new earth is going to come. So it's not much point in that. The Pope could easily be the false prophet, and then we have all the government leaders as well. They're all in it together. There's a shadow government, isn't there? People used to think I was crazy when I was against the government. I'm a conspiracy theorist, and some of these conspiracy theorists don't know the real truth, and they get paranoid because they're not with a higher. But those who are with a higher, the great I am, the name he gave Moses in Exodus, they don't fear anything else. Hey, sisters and brothers. And they say, let's come together and break away from the Creator. Once and for all, let's cast off these controlling chains of a higher and his Christ. Act 2, God speaks. God enthroned. And then the footnote says that Amharic is Maya, the Amharic form of Yahuwah, or Adonai Yehovah. It says Yahweh, YHWH, the tetragrammaton, but I think the real translation, the real pronunciation is probably Yahuwah, not the real translation. I think Yahuwah must be the name that he gave after the golden calf incident, when Moses thought they'd never be forgiven, and Ahia gave them the 13 attributes of Ahia that you can call upon when you've really done bad sins. Obviously, we call on the blood of Christ now, but it's nice to know all these things as well. And it says the Hebrew is he who sits. So it says Maya merely laughs at them, amused at all their puny plans, mocking their madness. Then with the fierceness of his fiery anger, he settles the issue. And the footnote for that says, in good time he drives them away and terrifies them to death with these words, I myself have poured out my king on Zion, my holy mountain. And the footnote says, for the believer today, Zion is not only a place, but also a realm where Christ is enthroned. Yeshua was poured out as a consecrated offering. Act 3, the Son speaks. I will reveal the eternal purpose of Elohim, of God, for he has decreed over me, you are my favoured Son, and as your Father I have crowned you as my King eternal. Today I became your Father. Ask me, or in the Masoronic text, ask wealth of me, to give you the nations, and I will do it, and they shall become your legacy. Your domain will stretch to the ends of the earth, and you will rule over them. And the footnote says, you will shepherd them with unlimited authority, crushing their rebellion as the iron rod smashes jars of clay. Act 4, the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit speaks. Listen to me, all you rebel kings, and all you upstart rulers of this earth. Learn your lesson. And the footnote says, do what is wise, while there is still time. Serve and worship the awe-inspiring Creator. Recognise his greatness and bow before him, trembling with reverence in his presence. And the footnote is, rejoice with trembling. The Hebrew word for rejoice means to spin around with excited emotions, or twirl. I'm doing a lot of that, but I'm not going to do it on camera, no way. Fall face down before him and kiss the feet of the Son before his anger is roused against you. Remember that his wrath can be quickly kindled, but many blessings are waiting for all who turn aside to hide themselves in him. and I felt a little bit of the chastisement of a higher, and I deserved it. Like King David says in Psalms, the chastisement you brought me through was the best thing that could have happened to me, because now I'm obedient. And obedient as a rebel can be. I'm going to be a rebel to Satan to the end, and more obedient to a higher every day, just through Yeshua living in me. One thing Rabbi Greg says, he's one of the white Israelites, but he's not like a Zionist. He's really nice, do you know what I mean? They're called the righteous converts, because since the days when Moses and the Hebrews left Egypt and the Exodus, and the highest split the Red Sea, there were a mixed multitude with them. He's on Beth Yeshua International right here on YouTube, and I can't remember what I was going to say now. Oh, and he said, because you know how the Son says, my Father is greater than I am, and the higher is, and Elohim is the Chad, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and then Yeshua says, me and the Father are one. He gave a good teaching. He said, Yeshua is in submission to the Father, but he is not inferior to him. You can check him out on YouTube. And then there's the Black Israelites Gathering of Christ Church. Truth Unedited has a lot of really good videos about the history of the Hebrews, so that we need to learn from them. Because remember, Yeshua said to the woman at the well, you know not what you worship. We know what we worship, for salvation comes from the Jews. That's why I love the Jewish things. I'm not just some wigger trying to steal someone else's culture. They want to share it. They had it stolen or lost it before, and now they're getting it back. And it says the Gentiles will cling to Jacob, you know. We don't have to go in the way of Esau anymore. And then it says all the nations, and the nations, it says in Isaiah, the Gentiles will trust in Yeshua. He is the light. So I just think it's really good to follow the Hebrew ways. And he commands us to. He said, people think I've come to destroy the law, but I say unto you, until the Torah is complete, not one dot or iota will pass away while the earth and moon endure, or something like that. And he also said in Matthew, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. I say unto you, all they bid you therefore observe and do that, but do not do as they do, for they say and do not, the hypocrites. But at the same time, it's a more compassionate Torah, because he said he would have mercy and not judgment. And remember the woman that was caught in the act of adultery, and the religious leaders, the Jews, wanted to stone her, and Yeshua convicted them, the Holy Spirit convicted them of their own evilness and sinfulness, and Yeshua just said, let he who is without sin throw the first stone. And they all left. And then he said to the woman, because he knew she was repentant, does any man condemn you? And she said, no, sir. And he said, neither do I condemn you. And he was the only one that had the right to judge her. And he said, go and sin no more. There's a really good teaching about how to keep Torah under the new covenant of grace through faith in Yeshua on Hebrew for Christians. If I can find it, I'll put it in the link. Okay, everyone, have a lovely night. Yah bless you all. Don't give up, don't get weary. It says that Satan will weary the saints out, but we can get power through Yeshua, through praying and fasting and worship him. He inhabits the praises of his people. Okay, bye.